Funny, right?
No, not funny or clever.
Ah, good to have you back, buddy. Said no one. It's funny because it's just like ordering a pizza. That expression is certainly too big for just ordering food to a place you usually wouldn't.
Memory of a Killer, all new tomorrow on Fox. TV's #1 new drama is an unforgettable thriller.
Your father's a copier salesman.
What kind of work does that entail?
And tomorrow,
I'll keep your secret.
see how his story began with a riveting new episode.
How do hundreds of thousands go missing right under your nose?
I'm leaving. No more jobs.
You've been hiding something.
Memory of a Killer, all new tomorrow on Fox.
Now, your primetime local news leader. Fox 22 News at 10.
Heavy snow and strong winds are expected to impact Maine tomorrow. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday night. For Fox 22 News at 10, I'm Doug Banks. The National Weather Service has issued a blizzard warning for the entire Maine coastline. Winter storm warnings have been issued for the Down East and Bangor regions, and winter storm watches have been issued for southern Aroostook, central Penobscot, and southern Piscataquis counties, with winds possibly exceeding 50 miles per hour. Central Maine Power today telling people to stay away from downed wires. They also said they're staffing extra crews at its service centers across Maine. The Maine Emergency Management Agency issuing advice. Preparing for a power outage should include taking inventory on items and planning alternative power sources. If a power outage does occur, MEMA's advice includes using generators only outside, not using a gas stove or oven to heat a home, disconnect appliances, and finding alternative plans to refrigerate medication. Following a power outage, they advise throwing away food that's been exposed to temperatures of 40 degrees or higher for 2 or more hours, and if necessary, discard medication that should have been refrigerated. Information and resources provided from MEMA can be found on our website, foxbangor.com. And ahead of the storm, Governor Janet Mills has also directed all state of Maine offices to be closed tomorrow. Governor Mills is urging Mainers to take this storm seriously, limit travel if possible, and give snow fighters and first responders the room they need to keep roads clear and communities safe. All right, folks, with that in mind, let's turn things over to Chase Ropanak, who's in now. The first look at our forecast. Chase?
Thank you very much. The weather was great out there for today, but it's about to take a big turn heading into tomorrow as a nor'easter is on the way. And of course, we have many advisories posted out there for us. In the purple, just north of Bangor, you have that winter weather advisory. That'll be expiring Tuesday morning right around 7 a.m. In the pink, you got that winter storm warning, same time for the expiration date for your Tuesday morning right around 7 a.m. And the same for this blizzard warning along our coastline that stretches all the way down near Portland. That'll be expiring Tuesday morning right around 7 a.m. as well. So what do we got coming for our way? Well, a very strong low pressure system is going to pass by the Gulf of Maine, just along the coast. Starting late morning hours, right around 9 to 10 a.m., some snow is going to begin to fall and the winds are going to begin to pick up, creating those blizzard-like conditions. And you can see the heaviest of snow will be in the evening hours, getting out of here by Tuesday morning, hence the reason why those warnings do expire around that time. But the winds will still be strong heading into your Tuesday as well. So speaking of winds, by the early morning hours for tomorrow, many of us along the coastline looking at gusts starting near 30 miles per hour. And as we head into the afternoon hours, when we'll see those peak winds reaching gusts near 40 to 45 miles per hour. At times, it's going to cause a lot of low visibility with blowing and drifting snow and heavy snow falling out there with that. So visibility and travel is going to be a big issue throughout all of your day, throughout your Monday into your Monday night and possibly Tuesday morning as well. So taking a look at throughout tonight, we will see lots of increasing clouds. We do have a chance for some light snow towards the early morning hours. Otherwise, temperatures won't change much. We're looking at lows hovering right near the 20-degree mark for tonight.
Good to know, Chase. Thank you for that report. We'll see you later on the broadcast. Folks, moving on, a person in the parking lot of a convenience store in Waterville was killed this morning when a car left the road and struck a vehicle parked at a gas pump. It all happened before 11:30 this morning at the Big Apple convenience store on Upper Main Street in Waterville. According to the Waterville Police Department's initial investigation, a vehicle traveling east on Main Street left the roadway and struck a vehicle parked at a gas pump. A pedestrian in the parking lot was then struck. They were pronounced dead at the scene. Waterville Police says it is still in active investigation. A basement fire in Augusta Thursday has now claimed a man's life. According to the fire marshal's office, crews responded to 347 Riverside Drive at around 2 p.m. Thursday for a reported house fire. They located a fire in the basement of that single-family home and found a male occupant outside the house who had suffered severe burns. He was transported to an Augusta hospital and then later taken by Life Flight to Maine Medical Center in Portland for life-threatening injuries. The fire marshal's office spokesperson Shannon Moss confirmed Friday that the man died at the hospital as a result of his injuries. He has been identified as 66-year-old Michael Keith. Investigators have determined that the fire was caused by accidental ignition of flammable liquids near a chimney door. The investigation into the incident remains ongoing. In other news, a Rockland man has been arrested after police say he drove a plow truck towards a large crowd gathered in Chapman Park. 65-year-old Michael Robinson has been charged with felony reckless conduct with a dangerous weapon and driving to endanger. According to the Rockland Police Department, on Saturday, Robinson drove his plow truck with the plow down in close proximity to around 75 people who were gathered at the park. Police say this caused snow and ice to strike multiple people and even knocked some people to the ground. According to the Rockland Police Department, weekly gatherings in this area have occurred for over a year with very few incidents. But there has been a recent increase in criminal activity targeting those exercising free speech.
I just am concerned that it's gotten to this place in our community and in our country where our neighbors are being moved to act in violent or escalatory ways against people who are just out here to exercise our First Amendment rights.
Robinson was taken into custody Saturday and booked into the Knox County Jail. Police say additional charges are expected. Well, starting yesterday, Maine has become the 22nd state in the country to enact a red flag law. Efforts to implement a red flag law gained momentum after the 2023 Lewiston mass shooting. Now, as the new law takes effect, many Mainers are asking what it changes and how it works. Alex Sly has the story.
Beginning Saturday, Maine's new red flag law will take effect, allowing both family members and law enforcement to petition a court to temporarily remove firearms from someone deemed a danger to themselves or others.
The constitutionality of red flag laws have been upheld across the nation, in courts across the nation, including in the Supreme Court.
The red flag law will act in conjunction with Maine's existing yellow flag law, which until now only permitted law enforcement to start the process of temporarily removing firearms. Supporters say the change gives families a more direct path to act when they see warning signs.
In Maine, where 90% of Maine's gun deaths in a typical year are suicide, there are often warning signs, and families are often the first people to know.
We reached out to local law enforcement asking whether Mainers should still feel comfortable contacting police when a loved one is in crisis. Multiple departments either did not respond or declined to comment. Bangor, Brewer, Vesey, Hamden, Herman, Holden, and the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office. Maine State Police did issue a statement saying they have hosted 6 training sessions on the red flag law, which 1,200 members of the Maine law enforcement community attended. The statement added in part, quote, "The training is meant to provide an overview of the law, so law enforcement understands how the law works with an emphasis on understanding the core processes, safe and effective services, firearm relinquishment, as well as how the new law might coexist with the current yellow flag law." For those looking to file a petition under the new law, no one at the Penobscot County Court was available Friday to discuss how the rollout will work or what steps citizens should expect. However, in an email to ABC7 and Fox 22, an official from the Maine Judicial Branch said in part, "The court is ready to implement the law. We have forms and a public-facing webpage with an explanation on the procedure ready to go live as soon as the law goes into effect. Forms will also be available at the courthouse." Alex Schley reporting for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
A Kennebec County grand jury has indicted a Chelsea man accused of shooting at sheriff's deputies during a chase. 33-year-old Dustin Smith is facing numerous charges, including aggravated attempted murder and eluding an officer. Authorities say he led police on a chase through several towns in December and also fired a gun at police during the pursuit. Smith was grazed by a bullet fired by police as that chase finally came to an end in Augusta. A man accused of leaving the scene of a deadly accident in Clinton is among those also indicted by a Kennebec County grand jury. Authorities say 31-year-old Tyler Hewitt of Caribou was driving home after buying illegal drugs in Massachusetts when he fell asleep at the wheel. The U-Haul went off the interstate in Clinton and killed his passenger, 38-year-old John Perkins of Hamden. Police say Hewitt fled the scene with a bag of illegal drugs, but was later captured. He's now facing an indictment on numerous charges, including leaving the scene of an accident involving death and aggravated drug trafficking. In other news, a homeless shelter in Skowhegan has faced multiple notifications of code violations from the town. Volunteers running the shelter say they're doing the best they can and are hoping for some extra time to shore up a new space. Our Callie Warren has a story.
Everything they brought up, we've really busted it to abide by because we just want to take care of these people.
At 12 McClellan Street in Skowhegan sits a large lot with an old church building. On the outside, it's a simple multi-story structure. Dozens of unhoused families call the inside home.
They said, you're a homeless shelter. I said, no, I'm a church with beds in it. And that's exactly what we are. Churches are supposed to take care of people. God told us to take care of the poor. And that's what we're trying to do. I didn't know about the codes and all of that.
In January, the volunteers at the shelter received a list of 27 code violations, with inspectors deeming multiple parts of the building a fire hazard.
In 3 weeks, we've been able to knock out 21 of them.
Citing everything from piles of cardboard to a lack of hardwired smoke detectors, volunteers report taking care of most of these issues.
If you're not able to reach this, that's a violation by code. Now this is accessible to their standards. All the wiring was redone and made perfect for this room.
For an entirely volunteer-based nonprofit, staffed mostly by the residents that stay at the shelter,
we aren't paying people around the clock. They're working for room and board and happy to get it.
Paying hundreds of thousands to retrofit the building isn't a fiscally feasible option. The solution?
A permanent coded facility as opposed to trying to retrofit something that may not even work down the road.
With community donations of money, skills, and time, alongside lots of hard work and hope, the shelter plans to expand into a code-compliant steel structure.
And 90% of it is bedrooms. So there's 22 12 by 17 bedrooms in the very center, and there's a 6-foot hallway down the middle, east wing and west wing. And right in the middle is a 17-foot section for a little dining area, some washrooms for bathing and showering. And then they'll be able to do all the stuff here at the building, you know, like eating and services and working.
They say they're one of few homeless shelters in the country that accepts entire families, and the new concept would help them help others. Alan started a GoFundMe page to help raise the funds necessary for this new structure. In the meantime, they hope the town permits the main building to stay open until the project is complete in the summer.
Our goal is to give them warmth, give them some food, some shelter, some hot water, and get back on their feet.
In Skowhegan, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Still to come here on Fox 22 News at 10. Maine's former CDC director and current Democratic candidate for governor made a campaign stop in Orono earlier today. Here are his top priorities. And later on, we'll go to Sebec Lake for the Dover Fox Crowd Firefighters Association's annual ice fishing derby. Those stories and more local news here on Fox 22 News at 10.
Your call is important to us.
You've heard this before, too many times. Tired of being customer 45978? Yeah, we would be too. Speed means fast uploads, no lag, and zero buffering. But it also means calling you back, showing up on time, and treating you like a person, not a problem. So whether you're working, streaming, gaming, or all three, it is time to make the switch to a provider that actually tries. Go NetSpeed. Service isn't dead. It just moved local.
Do you want free internet? Forever? You got it. Really. We mean it. Spectrum is offering free fiber-powered internet forever. Want it? Just call this number and switch 4 mobile lines to Spectrum for a lifetime of internet you never pay for. It's not a trial. It's an unprecedented offer. So we'll say it again. Free fiber-powered internet forever. Have you called yet? Because your internet is forever. But this ad ends now.
They've got the sharpest pencil in town. Have they just sit around that showroom figuring deals and whittling that old pencil down? They know that if you buy once, you're gonna be back. So instead of buying one, you're buying two, and that's a fact. They've got the sharpest pencil in town.
So come on down, neighbor. The coffee pot's on.
Our names were whispered through time, from generation to generation.
Don't you feel that there are things that cannot be explained?
God has a destiny for us.
Truly nothing is impossible for God.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Tensions were palpable in Bangor City Hall when the local water district heard questions and concerns from the public over a plan that would raise water prices. Our Kelly Warren was at that public hearing and has those details.
10.5% is a huge increase, no matter how you cut the cake. Did you get a 10.5% increase in wages this year?
Economic conditions are straining Bangor's water district and Bangor residents. The water district laid out their plan Thursday to raise water prices 10.5% across the board.
One of the biggest issues facing us is we have 200 miles of water main under the streets of Bangor, and 42 of those miles are over 100 years old. You're talking $2 million a mile for replacing water mains. That's $84 million we're facing.
The city experienced 73 water main breaks in 2025 alone. Those from the district say their water prices, even with the proposal, are already affordable compared to other options.
A gallon of water that you buy at a store is $1.26 roughly, and we sell that for 0.0107 cents for that same gallon of water.
But residents say they're facing much more strain on their wallets in recent years, and this proposal only worsens it.
And today we are looking at rate increases of 60% here in Bangor for electricity, 40 to 60% increases on natural gas and heating oil, and this is all since 2020.
The 10.5% price hike is a flat rate for all water consumers. The water district says for the average residential consumer, the increase will be around $11 per quarter, making an extra $44 per year.
There comes a point where it's the straw that breaks the camel's back, and I'm not saying this is it. I just think things are going to get worse until we do something different.
The increase proposal has to be approved by the Public Utilities Commission. Residents have 90 days to circulate and present a petition in opposition if they choose. Otherwise, if the proposal is approved as it currently stands, the new pricing will take effect April 1st. In Bangor, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The increased proposal has to be approved by the Public Utilities Commission. Residents have 90 days to circulate and present a petition in opposition if they choose. Otherwise, the proposal is approved as it currently stands. The new pricing will take effect on April 1st. In other news, roughly 1 year after a high-profile brush-up with President Donald Trump, Governor Janet Mills changed her mind after saying she would not attend his annual governor's meeting. Governor Mills was reportedly spotted in attendance at the governor's breakfast. The Trump administration initially shared plans to only invite Republican governors, but then walked that back. Mills posted the following statement Friday afternoon, saying in part, quote, "Last year, my gut told me to stand up to the president. This year, right before the meeting started, it told me that I needed to show up, so I decided to attend, because I have vowed to stand up for and defend Maine people no matter what, and I keep my promises," end quote. Former Maine CDC director and Democratic candidate for governor Dr. Nirav Shah was in Orono today, speaking to and taking questions from a crowd of voters. The event marked Shah's 11th public town hall since launching his campaign last October. He outlined his top priorities, which include addressing food insecurity among children, funding health care, fixing the housing crisis, growing Maine's economy, and fighting back against the Trump administration.
Those are the issues that I hear Mainers bringing up. Some of them are about pocketbook issues. Some of them are about the core features of our democracy, which many Mainers feel is slipping away from us. As governor, we've got to be both for something as well as know what we're going to stand up against. And my plans and my priorities give voters a sense of both.
Shaw recently unveiled a comprehensive plan that aims to safeguard Maine from what he believes are harmful Trump administration policies, ranging from elections to ICE enforcement. He faces a crowded field of high-profile candidates vying for the Democratic nomination this June. To the State House now, Maine representatives are looking to pass a bill that would modify a law affecting small distilleries. Some argue that the bill is addressing the wrong issues. Our Alexa Kennedy has those details.
Friday, lawmakers addressed a bill in committee that they say would provide small distilleries relief from bureaucratic, regulatory, and financial burdens. Specifically, the legislation would lower service and trade fees for such establishments, minimize the required frequency of inspection and reporting, and prioritize buying from in-state small distilleries.
We've had a couple of distilleries close in the last few years. It's been a really difficult time for the industry as a whole. Like, our revenues will be down significantly year over year. just because people are consuming a lot less alcohol.
Lawmakers say the goal is to keep more small distilleries in Maine from having to close. But co-owner of Mossy Ledge Spirits, Jesse Lupo, says the bill falls short of that mission.
This bill was not representative of what all distilleries would like to see. The communication among small distilleries is not great. Therefore, it's not been the voice of many, but maybe the loud voice of few.
Lupo says state inspections and reports don't harm his business, but they're helpful and necessary. Lupo also says that service fees are not the burden that they're made out to be, and actually prefer to work with distributors that the bill would cut.
But what it sounds like is they're trying to cut out the liquor stores, and I'm sorry, but I don't want to see them go up. I don't want to be able to sell direct to consumer. I don't want to go to bars and restaurants and peddle my products.
Despite lawmakers saying the bill has good ideas, they ultimately voted against it. The bill could be revised for next session. Alexa Kennedy reporting for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, folks, after the break, we'll take a look outside the state at some national stories. We'll be right back.
Tired of worrying whether your credit will hold you back from getting a car? At Down East Credit Union, we believe everyone deserves reliable transportation, even with less than perfect credit. Let us guide you every step of the way. If your credit score is under 670 or you've had setbacks like bankruptcy or repossession, that doesn't mean you're out of options. We'll help you get pre-approved, guide you through car shopping, and work with you on a plan to rebuild your credit. Reach out to Down East Credit Union today. Let's get you on the road confidently.
When you're ready to remodel your kitchen, find all the materials and services you need at Hammond Lumber Company. Get inspired by the extensive in-store displays in Hammond's kitchen, bath, and flooring division. Hammond's designers will help you visualize your space before the work begins. And all design fees are refunded when you purchase your materials from them. And Hammond delivers from 34 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. When it's time for a new kitchen, it's time to bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
You are watching WFVX, Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Hours after a Supreme Court ruling struck down the White House's global tariffs on Friday, the president ordered a new 10% tax on products from all countries. Now he's bumping the percentage up to 15%. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has those details.
A lot of world leaders have been looking at this Supreme Court ruling with caution, unsure of how it will affect the administration's deals and framework agreements. They're also not off the hook just yet because the president says he intends to keep tariffs for now. He'll just be using a different trade law. He'll be invoking Section 122 of the 1974 Trade Act to impose tariffs on a temporary basis. Just this morning, he made this announcement. He's raising the 10% worldwide tariff on countries to what he called the fully allowed and legally tested 15% level. The administration will also be conducting investigations using another authority that opens the door for tariffs on countries that engage in unfair trading practices. So the president clearly defiant, despite the Supreme Court's 6-3 decision that he exceeded his power by imposing duties under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. He's been criticizing the justices who ruled against him and praising those who did side with the administration. The president saying on Truth Social also today, my new hero is United States Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh and, of course, Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that they want to make America great again. President Trump has been able to quickly find a workaround for the tariffs. What's less than clear is the status of the roughly $175 billion in tariff revenue that are now subject to potential refunds. The court sent the issue back to the lower courts with the refunds running through trade courts and the customs claims process. It could be very messy and take a long time to do.
There is some precedent in the past in other wide-ranging tariff cases where the Court of International Trade, which is a district-level court in the United States, had a hand in being very specific about the how and the when of those kinds of things. So we'll have to see how the courts want to deal with it.
And regarding the trade deals the president has struck, the administration expects those agreements will hold. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
In other news, TSA says PreCheck will remain open despite the Department of Homeland Security saying it would close down during the partial government shutdown. The partial shutdown went into effect on February 14th after lawmakers could not come to a deal on legislation to fund DHS. The department reversed its own statement in the early afternoon today, updating it to say a suspension of global entry was occurring, but the department removed its mention of PreCheck. All right, folks, after the break, the weekend review. What stories made the list? Find out next.
The game of survival is in your hands.
Let's go! Oh my God.
I should have applied for the floor.
Extracted, all new Mondays on Fox.
When you're furniture shopping, you can wait for a sale price. Or you can get the best price every day at Bob's.
And more of what you love.
More storage and more power.
More comfort and more choices.
Even more years on that precious mattress warranty.
All for hundreds less than the competition.
I cannot tell a lie. Bob's is the obvious choice.
When you find the better choice, there's only one thing to say.
Oh my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
No. I'm in my own head.
What the heck are you talking about?
I think I got away with something that I shouldn't have. See that brand new Hyundai Santa Fe?
Yeah.
I only paid...
Finish that bucket on your own. Practice makes perfect.
Enjoy your new car.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Deal so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Santa Fe SE for $319 a month or get 0% APR plus 0 payments for 90 days. Hurry in.
I'm Jim with Lowry Law. I was contacted by a woman who asked me to help one of her friends who had been hurt by a drunk driver. We got him a $250,000 settlement. If you've been hurt by a drunk driver, call me. I'm your go-to guy.
When lives are on the line, they don't hesitate to run towards danger. Unfortunately, the same gear that protects them from deadly flames can be hazardous to their health. Senator Susan Collins to the rescue. Susan helped introduce legislation that protects firefighters and first responders from cancer-causing forever chemicals in their equipment. Because their job is dangerous enough. Call Senator Collins and thank her for protecting Maine's first responders.
When Blazing Trails located in Lincoln want to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Blazing Trails is Lincoln's #1 trusted dispensary, providing outstanding product and customer service to Eastern and Central Maine.
Say sorry. Your Honor. It's not an answer. I love this job.
Judge Judy.
Weekdays at 6 on Fox 22.
The Newport Cultural Center is a gathering spot where community members are building connections between generations.
Our #1 priority is making people feel welcome.
We'll have the story Tuesday on Fox 22 News at 10.
Welcome back and welcome into our weekend show segment, The Weekend Review. Where each Saturday and Sunday, we take suggestions to stories here at ABC 7 and Fox 22, ranging from breaking news to feel-good features that stood out to you during our weekday and air them in its entirety. First, we go back to Thursday, when Augusta police were investigating a suspicious package delivered to the Maine Republican Party headquarters. Chief Kevin Lully on Thursday said officers responded at around 1 p.m. to the headquarters location on Higgins Street for a report of a suspicious package received. There are no confirmed details on what was in the package. The package was isolated, building occupants were evacuated, and police worked with other law enforcement partners to identify the contents. Police said at the time there were no injuries or illnesses.
It's unfortunate that things are getting insane like this.
I mean, we're just a political party. We haven't done anything crazy, and now we're getting, stupid envelopes with stuff in it. So it's not going to stop us, and we always act cautiously when it comes to safety situations, but we're going to continue doing our work because this stuff is getting out of hand.
Anyone with information are being asked to reach out to the Augusta Police Department's Criminal Investigations Bureau. And staying with another story from Thursday, the first woman to serve as Adjutant General of the Maine National Guard and the first female Brigadier General in Maine was promoted. Brigadier General Diane Dunn was promoted to Major General last week. The ceremony happened in front of family, friends, state colleagues, and currently serving and retired service members. Major General Dunn is the Adjutant General for the Maine Army National Guard and Maine Air National Guard, as well as the Commissioner for the Maine Department of Defense, Veterans, and Emergency Management. She has held numerous positions since starting her career in 1988, including Company Commander, Battalion Commander, and Chief of Staff, just to name a few. In 2020, Dunn became the first female Brigadier General in the state of Maine. In 2024, she became the 41st Adjutant General for the Maine National Guard and first female to hold the position. Her newest promotion makes her the first female Major General to serve in the Maine National Guard. She said, quote, "I do not see this as a personal achievement alone, but as a testament to progress and possibility. If this moment inspires even one young person to believe that there is no limit to their service, then it will have meant something far greater than a star on a uniform," end quote. And finally, students from the VZ Community School are heading to Texas, all thanks to their love of robotics. Our Jody Hersey has a story.
Last week, we took you to the LEGO robotics competition in Jay, where 24 teams from across the state competed against one another. When the points and judges' scores were tallied, it was the VZ Vikings that came out victorious, winning the top prize and the honor of competing in Houston, Texas.
I was in complete shock, to be honest with you.
This 7-member team was led by first-time coaches Lori Kimball and her son Colin Kimball, a mechanical engineering student at UMaine.
We had 4 new members and 2 new coaches.
The duo helped the robotics team practice, problem solve, and get as much exposure to public speaking as possible.
They were able to teach grades 1 through 5 their project. Then we had a special night where the school board came and all their parents, and we presented our entire presentation. So by the time we went to competition, they felt pretty comfortable talking in front of adults.
The team hoped they'd do well, but never expected to win big.
A great thing about robotics is it teaches you how to not be scared of big situations.
I love building Legos. I like coding on the computer.
I like critical thinking and building stuff and painting and drawing.
Now, the VZ Community School has set up a GoFundMe page in order to raise $15,000 to send the entire team and the coaches to Texas from April 29th to May 2nd. Those looking to donate can do so on the GoFundMe page or send a donation by check to the VZ Community School.
To see how well they did and all of their hard work pay off, I couldn't be more happy at the outcome already.
In VZ, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And as the Week in Review segment continues, we'd like you at home to be a part of it. Didn't see a story you thought should have been included? Well, then email us throughout the week at weekendreview@wvii.com with what stories during the past week made an impact or stood out to you. Tune in again next Saturday night here on Fox 22 News at 10 for a new slate of local stories. All right, folks, after the break, Chase Ropanak will have our full 5-day forecast. We'll be right back.
Purple Coat Bangor is open and ready for business. Jump into the best products, pricing, and customer service in town. Join a growing community with monthly events, art and music nights, daily specials, and plenty of good vibes. Located at 431 Audlin Road, right off of 395. Stop by and check us out today.
You heard it was a hit. You heard it was a smash. A wonder. A phenomenon. An international sensation, but you haven't heard them.
March 16 at the Cross Insurance Center. Get your tickets today.
Welcome to Stowaway's Town Tavern in Bucksport, where every meal's a hearty feast that feels like a family gathering. Stowaway serves generous portions of classic home-style dishes that are sure to satisfy. Complement your meal with your favorite drink from Ugly's Tap Room, Stowaway's full-service bar. Come as our guest, leave as our friend at Stowaway's Town Tavern in Bucksport. Open every day for lunch, dinner, and snacks in between.
Many people living in Maine still face barriers to reliable internet access. TechHelpForMe.org is a free online directory that connects people to local connectivity resources like public Wi-Fi, public computers, free or low-cost computers, digital skills classes, tech help, financial assistance, and more. Learn more at TechHelpForMe.org. Brought to you by the Maine Connectivity Authority and the Maine Association of Broadcasters.
Purple Coat Bangor is open and ready for business. Jump into the best products, pricing, and customer service in town. Join a growing community with monthly events, art and music nights, daily specials, and plenty of good vibes. Located at 431 Audlin Road, right off of 395. Stop by and check us out today.
No one could know. TV smash hit Memory of a Killer is all new Mondays on Fox.
Thank you very much. If you were outside for today, it was a beautiful day. Very few clouds out there. We had highs back above freezing, not much wind out there as well. We got some more wind to return throughout tonight and tomorrow. We'll talk about that here in a bit. But otherwise, highs reach near 36 for today here in Bangor, 35 in Millinocket. Lots of low to mid 30s as you head up north for today. So beautiful weather for you, and even warmer weather with mid to upper 30s as you head down into the southwestern portion of the state. For tonight, we got lots of increasing cloud cover ahead of the nor'easter on the way for tomorrow. So our lows hanging out near 24 tonight. Definitely going to be cooler as you see less cloud cover up north, looking at upper single digits to low to mid-teens for many of you in the northern tier of the state. But heading into tomorrow, that low pressure is going to be right on top of us, right? So a lot of that cloud cover and that pressure is going to keep our temperatures from budging much tomorrow. Only expect highs in the mid-20s. You'll see that along your coastline as well. And then slightly cooler temperatures up north for you tomorrow in the upper teens and low 20s for areas like Clayton Lake and Caribou. So average highs near 33 degrees. We're going to be below that for tomorrow into your Tuesday, getting closer Wednesday. And those temperatures warm up later into the week. Thursday and the Friday will be back above average in those mid to upper 30s. And then for your weekend, hanging right around the mid 30s as well. So a bit cooler to start off the work week, but those temperatures will warm up later into the week, into next weekend as well. But it is going to be cooler for tomorrow because a lot of low pressure will be right on top of us with that nor'easter on the way. And we got plenty of advisories out there to let you guys know that this storm is on the way. And one we really want to talk about right along our coastline is this blizzard warning. We're expecting blizzard conditions, and the criteria for that is gusts up to 35 miles per hour, snow falling or drifting with that wind for more than 3 hours at a time, and that's what we'll be seeing. We also have that winter storm warning just north of the coastline. Bangor is included with this, so you also see that expiring right around 10 p.m. for your Monday night, but some areas also seeing that expire towards the early morning hours for your Tuesday, and that winter weather advisory just north of that. We're not going to see as much snow, still dealing with wind, but not as bad as implications from this system. That'll expire 7 a.m. for your Tuesday as well. So winds throughout tonight are going to continue to pick up. We're going to see gusts towards the early morning hours near 25 to 30 miles per hour. Of course, more of that wind is along your coastline. You see down near Portland, gusts near already getting close to 40 miles per hour, and that's really going to pick up in the afternoon. This is going to create lots of low visibility with the falling snow out there. Gusts near 40 to 45 miles per hour here in Bangor. Coastal regions, of course, Machias getting gusts close to 50 miles per hour. Again, the winds will be a little bit less further north, but still many of us looking at gusts over 30 miles per hour for the afternoon hours tomorrow. That wind really sticks around for quite a while into tomorrow night. By the early morning hours Tuesday, those winds will subside to only right around 20 to 30 miles per hour. So still going to see a lot of blowing snow heading into your Tuesday morning as well. So when is that snow arriving? We're looking right around the late morning hours, 9 to 10 a.m. for us here in Bangor. We'll start off light at first, but it will pick up, becoming a little bit heavier as we get into the evening hours, 4 to 5 o'clock. You're seeing that bullseye here just to the east off near Machias is where the heaviest snow will be expected. This will continue throughout much of tomorrow night, but will begin to taper off once we get to the early morning hours for your Tuesday. Here's 7 a.m. That's when all those warnings and advisories will expire as well. So here is our snow map. Looking at the bullseye here near Machias, 8 to 12 plus inches of snowfall for you, and there's going to be a sharp cutoff line. Right now we're looking at 4 to 8. Pretty big, variance in between these snow amounts, but still still with the wind and the cutoff area. Looking at 48 here, just outside of this zone in the red. Bangor is included in that. And then once you go north of Millinocket up near Presque Isle, many of you looking at that 1 to 4 inch range, you'll be more on the outside of the system rather than closer to the center of low pressure. So for tonight, we got lows right around 20 degrees, increasing clouds, some light snow is possible late, but the main thing is that wind is picking up, gusting near 25 miles per hour. Going to continue to pick up tomorrow with gusts near 45. Looking at highs in the mid-20s. Snow will be likely, of course, tomorrow, and many of us, especially as you get closer to the coastline, will be dealing with blizzard conditions for tomorrow. So here's a look at our extended forecast. Those temperatures will reach into the upper 20s after all this snow and wind gets out of here by Tuesday, but we have another clipper system on the way looking to bring more measurable snow Wednesday, where those highs will be in the low 30s. We reach back above freezing for your Thursday, and it looks like a possibility of another nor'easter on the way for your Friday. That'll bring chances for rain and snow as highs reach the upper 30s.
Good to know, Chase. Thank you for that report. Folks, U.S. hockey fans rejoice. If you don't know by now you do. The United States men's Olympic hockey team this morning took home the gold with their 2-1 overtime win over Team Canada. Matt Boldy would get his second goal of the Olympic Games to get the match started for U.S. Canada's Cale Makar would get his second goal in Milan as well later on to tie it. And early in overtime, it was Jack Hughes scoring the golden goal. Their team's victory ends a 46-year gold medal drought. Their last gold medal coming from the infamous Miracle on Ice team, who won the gold over the favored Soviet Union 46 years ago today. USA's women's hockey team, in similar fashion, won their gold medal match over the other day over Canada, 2-1 in overtime as well. Good to see U.S. hockey in full force at the Olympics. Today was also the last day of the 2026 Winter Olympics. Norway topped the final medal counts at 41 total medals. The United States finished second in both gold and total medals won. And for a little local connection here, 4 Mainers competed in this year's Olympics. Pretty cool right there. All right, folks, after the break, sports director Jack Webb will recap yesterday's high school basketball's regional finals matchups. Stay right here. We'll be right back.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes & More has a team of experts trained in podorthics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or the hard-to-fit foot. Discover the latest in functional and fashionable footwear for men and women from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Merrell, and Ariat. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit-and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With decades of experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Discover the charm of Warren's Waterfront Restaurant, Bucksport's only waterfront dining. Relax in a cozy atmosphere where every visit feels like home. Indulge in fresh, flavorful dishes paired with stunning river views. Join us at Warren's Waterfront, your perfect escape.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
A little winter weather never stopped Old George or Toyota from offering incredible savings to celebrate his birthday on vehicles from the longest-lasting brand at the Toyota Washington's Birthday Savings Event. You could get $4.99 for $72 on an affordable Corolla gas sedan or Corolla hybrid sedan with available all-wheel drive. Plus, get 2 years no-cost maintenance. Come get your savings in honor of Old George at your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
So what's it like being a doctor in Port Wynn?
This town is ridiculous.
Come on, you're starting to like it here.
Best Medicine, all new Tuesdays on Fox.
Welcome back in, folks. Saturday was regional final Saturday for the state basketball tournament here in Maine, and we might as well get right to it. First game of that regional Saturday in Bangor's #1 Wisdom taking on #2 Katahdin in the S-North final. Wisdom leading in the third, but Katahdin getting right back in it as Ayana Lester gets the bucket and the foul to tie it at 16. but Wisdom would answer. Ava Lerman takes the handoff, drives, and finishes at the rim to make it 20-16 Wisdom. In the fourth now, Wisdom on the attack. Maddie Sear drives, then pulls up and knocks down the jumper to make it 30-19 as they start to pull away. Katahdin trying to stay in it off the inbounds pass. Lester puts it up and in, but it'd be too little too late as Lerman lays it up with time expiring, and Wisdom advances to the Class S state title game, their first state title game since 1998.
I mean, it's something words can't describe. It's a feeling I haven't been able to feel before. We've had too many heartbreaks on this floor, so my senior year coming into it, we said we got to win. We got to have a net around our neck at the end of this. And I mean, sure enough, this morning it came to us. We've been working hard for it. So.
For Class S boys, it's number 1 Jonesport Beals and the Royals taking on number 2 Easton High School Bears for a shot at the state title appearance. Starting in the first, Royals strike early when Anderson Alley finds his brother Owen underneath the net. He puts it up, draws contact, and he's got it and one. Not long after, Coben Robinson three-pointer, bang, he drains it. Royals start building a big lead on the other end. Jamie McKay recovers a Bears miss, fights through the traffic, and floats one up and in. A much-needed spark at the end of the half. Second half now, Bears claw all the way back, and they take the lead with this pass and score from Mason Pelletier to Ashton Bergby. The momentum has shifted. Same connection as the last play. Pelletier looking like Brady. Tip pass falls to Bugby, and he lays it in for 2 late in the fourth quarter, and the Bears hold a big lead now. Josiah Ellis puts the game on ice. Bears head to the state title game with a 58-42 win.
We were very quiet in the locker room, and we came up with a couple new plays that we knew would work, and we came out, and it was mostly poise and grit that won that game in the second half.
Now for Class D action, starting with the girls, it's number 4 PVHS looking for another upset as they took on number 2 Machias. We pick it up just after the tip, and Brooklyn Raymond picks up right where she left off, splashing the 3 to open the scoring. Howlers again on the attack. Moulton feeds Lila Cummings, who goes to work in the post, makes it 9-0 PVHS. In the second now, Raymond feeds the 8th grader, McKenna Ireland, who lays it in to make it 23-8 Howlers. Machias looking to respond. Aubrey Wood is going to feed Olivia Reynolds in the post. She lays it in as the Bulldogs are looking for a spark. Time winding down in the first half. Moulton gets the board, kicks it out to Raymond, who is going to bury the triple at the buzzer. 28-13, Howlers lead at the break. In the third, Machias finally settling in. Aubrey Wood feeds Loretta Richardson, who gets the bucket and the foul as the Bulldogs bring it within 9, but the Howlers would be too much. Raymond feeds Cummings. Penobscot Valley punches their ticket to their second straight title game, this time in Class D.
I think it just shows our grit going from that high last year and kind of having a little bit of a tough time this year. It shows our grit and our willing to work.
Now for the boys, number 1 Machias, number 2 Madawaska, who will advance to the Class D state title game. This game decides it. We pick it up early in the first quarter. The number 1 team gets it going when Liam O'Connor holds, then dishes to Mickey Fitzsimmons with the space. He fires and splashes a three-pointer. Then O'Connor gets his chance. He heads to the corner. No one follows, so of course he takes the shot and 2 knocks it down for 3. The Owls finish strong, though, in the second when Braden Pelletier finds Jeremiah Turner for a nice layup, evening the score. But the Bulldogs close the first half with this scoop and score off the loose ball. It's picked up by TJ Holmes. He puts it up and in at the buzzer. That would spark a great second half for that team. Third quarter, Caden Carter gets the feed and puts up two quick two-pointer. And then in the fourth, Wesley Bragg finishes it off with this put-back shot. The Bulldogs win 61-57.
Yeah, we struggled a little bit in the first half, but we got going in the second half. Just really tried to shut down Quinn and all those guys, so I thought we did pretty well.
Class C was the nightcap at the Cross, and it started with the girls. Number 3 Foxcroft Academy looking to knock off undefeated Mattanock Academy. Defensive first quarter, we pick it up in the second. Senior Megan House open in the corner. She buries the triple to give the Lynx an 11-4 lead. Now it's House again. She's off the mark, but her friend and co-star Addison Sear has her back. She grabs the offensive board, lays it in for 2. Ponies trying to create some offense, and watch this play from Maddie Muth. The Euro step through the trees and lays it in with the left. Problem would be that's the Ponies' only points in the quarter. Still in the second, it's Sear again, corrals the loose ball and gets the bucket and the foul. puts MA up 20-6. Second half, Ponies trying to make a push. Allie Cook drains the three, but Sear, House, and the Lynx would be too much. Here's House with a backdoor cut, a tough finish through traffic as Mattinock Academy wins their first ever girls basketball regional title.
It's so special. I mean, this is something we've worked for all 4 years that I've been here, and it's so exciting to finally be able to do it, you know, on this last go-around on my senior year. So it's so special to be able to do it with this group of girls that I'm so close with. And so it's really, really special.
Our last game of the night, it's number 1 Caribou and number 3 Fort Kent going to war in the regional final game with a ticket to the Class C state title game on the line. Let's kick things off with the Vikings and Owen Corrigan, who decides to take the ball himself before stopping and pulling up with a quick jumper for 2 points. Then Jaden Jeffers finds his brother Aiden down low. Remember the name. He works around the defender and lays it in. He's back at it again. This time he feeds Dom Sear on the no look to get him involved in the scoring. But Corrigan and the Vikings keep pace. He launches and drains a big three-pointer. Next possession, Jeffers is driving, but it's poked away. Going the other way, Colby Olette, no-look dish to Corrigan, and Corrigan with a beautiful move for 2 more. He then recovers the missed three-pointer and puts it back in. Corrigan having a night. These two teams went back and forth until the final seconds of this game, where it all came down to this. Aiden Jeffers driving for the win. He throws it up, and he's got it. A buzzer beater to send your team to the Class C state championship. Look at the crowd pan here. The Fort Kent faithful are fired up. That is what it's all about. That is exactly what dreams are made of. Aiden Jeffers, take a bow, young man. Just an incredible play to send his team to the state title game. That is, I mean, you dream about that in the yard as a kid, in the front driveway, you know, in the park, wherever you may be. You're counting down in your head. Aiden Jeffers just made a bunch of kids' dreams come true. He lived it out. What a regional Saturday. We'll have your coverage all week long heading up to the state championship games on Friday and Saturday, covering all our local teams in those big games. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
John Brown first opened his own appliance store in Ellsworth in 1976. With his gift of storytelling, a strong work ethic, and a philosophy of putting others first, John and his wife and children saw the business prosper and grow. Today's 3rd and 4th generation of family and their entire team continue to follow the example set by their grandparents and parents. Brown Appliance and Mattress, High Street, Ellsworth, a family tradition of quality, value, and customer service that always puts you first.
Do you want free internet? Forever? You got it. Really. We mean it. Spectrum is offering free fiber-powered internet forever. Want it? Just call this number and switch 4 mobile lines to Spectrum for a lifetime of internet you never pay for. It's not a trial. It's an unprecedented offer. So we'll say it again. Free fiber-powered internet forever. Have you called yet? Because your internet is forever. But this ad ends now.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
A sharp pain in his chest. He knew it was his heart, but 2 hours from the big city hospital could tragically mean the end. But it wasn't. Thanks to Senator Susan Collins' tireless fight for Maine's rural hospitals. Because of Senator Collins' work, his local hospital had recently received up-to-date diagnostic equipment and upgraded facilities, all paid for with new federal funding. Lives are being saved. Call and thank our Senator Susan Collins for delivering this lifeline for Maine.
Only one show has this much star power.
We're gonna start off with the bang.
The Masked Singer, all new Wednesdays on Fox.
Welcome back. Hundreds of anglers came out to Sebec Lake this weekend for the Dover Foxcroft Firefighters Association's annual Ice Fishing Derby. According to organizers, the 15th annual Derby drew in upwards of 600 to 700 people who took part in the two-day competition. In addition to the fishing derby, they also had shore prize drawings. According to the Derby chairman, proceeds from the event enable the Dover Foxcroft Fire Department to secure vital emergency gear and equipment at no cost to the taxpayers.
This morning we caught 2 fishes in just under an hour.
You know, it's a good time to spend with friends from the area, do something we all love doing, you know, and hopefully a chance to maybe win a little bit of money and support the community.
You go out on the lake and some of the fish houses have 30 people gathered around them, and it's really good for the Sebec Lake. It's the biggest winter event for this area.
The Derby is one of the 4 major fundraising events they hold each year. For results from this weekend's Derby, you can visit the Dover Foxcroft Fire Department's Facebook page. Well, parking for Bangor's waterfront concerts can be difficult, but Hollywood Casino makes sure parking fees don't simply just pad their pockets. The casino donated a $25,000 check to Sarah's House of Maine to support their endeavors helping local families of cancer patients. Spokesperson Dan Cashman explains that on concert nights, the casino charges a fee for concert goers to use their parking garage. Those funds are then used for charitable donations. And finally here tonight, the national organization Quilts of Valor gives veterans and active military members comfort through the art of quilt making. Here in Maine, one woman has sewn an astonishing 425 quilts. On Friday, I spoke with her as she put the finishing touches on one of her latest works of art.
Okay.
Sharon Ann Parody knows a thing or two about sewing.
Oh, I first began sewing when I was a child.
Her passion evolved into a new pattern beginning in 2018 when she stumbled upon a local newspaper article about Quilts of Valor and their mission of providing solace to veterans and active military members through the art of quilt making.
I can show you how to trim up one of these squares. I didn't know it existed. And in my mind, it was like, well, this is the world's best kept secret, and it shouldn't be. It gives me a place to award the sewing. It's like, I'm not just sewing for the sake of sewing, I'm sewing a quilt of valor. And it's just a small gesture of thanks that I can do for them.
Since that day in 2018, she's sewn a small gesture of thanks 425 times.
Apparently, it's the highest honor that a civilian can give to a veteran is the Quilt of Valor.
She sews comfort and healing to veterans, and for a moment, to her husband as well.
He was ill, he had Parkinson's. He was capable of being alone, but I didn't want to leave him alone. He knew where I was, he could hear the sewing machine or the quilting machine. He knew what I was doing, and it gave him comfort.
Parody continues to sew regularly.
Not every day, but almost every day, I'm sure.
And as the needle and thread varies,
they're always individual.
So too does its touch.
Oh, it's very important that everyone has a unique touch.
From the basement of her Augusta home, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News. That is all we have for tonight. I'm Doug Banks, and for everyone here at Fox 22 News at 10, thank you for watching. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, and hopefully you are too. Until then, take care and good night.
Start your day with Good Morning Maine. Weekday mornings starting at 6 on Fox 22.
How many times has something broke down, but the right size tool is nowhere to be found? What you need is Red Dog, the amazing universal socket tool that fits, grips, and tightens virtually any fastener. And now may be your last chance to get one before they're gone. Look at all the different sizes and shapes, nuts, bolts, and screws. Any head will do. Red Dog grabs on tight and locks into place fast. It replaces hundreds of different tools tools, yet it's smaller than a battery. 54 telescoping steel pins mold around any object. Then, up to 150 pounds of torque knock out rusted fasteners. Attach the deluxe drill adapter and drive screws into concrete with ease. Don't let a stubborn project ruin your day. Red Dog grabs on tight. Plus, it tackles odd jobs with precision and speed. No more heavy toolboxes or guessing which size to use. With Red Dog, you'll never search or guess which tool to use again. Look, you could use a ton of different tools for this project, but we did it fast and easy with just one Red Dog. Amazing! You could spend over $100 for a socket set, or you can get the incredible Red Dog for just $19.99. But wait, there's breaking news. Red Dog may be discontinued. Due to rising costs and supply chain shortages, Red Dog is stopping manufacturing immediately. There's a strict limit of 3 per order while supplies last. You still have time to get your very own Red Dog, but you must act fast. Once the current inventory is gone, it's gone forever. The amazing Red Dog. Order now.
Call 1-800-709-0494. That's 1-800-709-0494. Or visit byreddog.com. So call 1-800-709-0494. Order now.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.